Welcome, everyone. Appreciate you attending today. As Kieran said, we have two excellent team members from Synthesis that I'll be asking questions to, and it's a very interactive discussion today, and we certainly welcome your questions when it's Q&A time as well. Revving the revenue cycle means that one needs to understand where efficiency is being compromised. Vijay, I'll ask you the first question. What are the symptoms of an inefficient CPQ and billing system implementation?
Thank you, Tim. So before I get into the symptom, I wanted to start with the preamble. Primarily, we are into the subscription industry, subscription economy, and this industry applies to any mainstream industry. It could be manufacturing, it could be SaaS services, it could be any company that wants to start moving from a brick and mortar to the subscription economy, right? So there is a huge demand of having the best of breed solutions for quote to cash. The requirements are changing very drastically. New product models are coming in. So naturally, this industry has been heating up for the last 10, 15 years. And many companies have come up with innovative billing solutions, CPQ solutions, and there is definitely a curve where multiple companies are facing multiple issues and inefficiencies when implementing the CPQ and the billing solution. So when we get into the exact symptoms, and this will nicely dovetail into other questions that we are going to talk about. Why do we have to worry about the symptoms? Because symptoms are the areas which kind of indicate early on, if measured or if observed, where the issues are with the systems that are getting implemented in the quote to cash. So what we have to keep in mind is what stage the customer is. Is customer having a legacy quote to cash system, or customer has just implemented the billing solution and the CPQ, and they're at the growth stage or like early nascent stage of the implementation, or customer has advanced best of breed solution and been running the quote to cash system for multiple years. So it has to be put in perspective at what stage and maturity level the customer is, and the symptoms will vary based on that. So let's talk about symptoms related to issues or inefficiencies on the quote side first. So a very common one is complaints about inaccurate quote. So quote is a very complex, can become very complex, and there can be multiple inefficiencies why a quote can become inaccurate. And we'll talk about that in the upcoming discussions that we're having. But from a symptom perspective, one evident symptom is inaccurate quote. Quote can be inaccurate because of the wrong products, line items in the quote. It could be inaccurate for many reasons. Price calculation, the wrong discount given, etc. Right? The other symptom is quotes are getting issued to customers, but there is a multiple failures when the quote is getting converted to order. So we call it conversion, quote to conversion issues. The third symptom could be customer complaining on invoicing, saying, hey, this is the invoice you have given me, but this is not what we agreed on the quote. So there could be issue between what was offered in the quote and what was finally charged to the customer. That's a CPQ issue, and that is a billing issue as well. There has been instances where the sales team has gone ahead and given additional discounts, and that is a symptom where it's kind of a revenue leakage issue, a cost issue, where people are giving discounts without proper approvals, and that kind of impacts the company's bottom line. One other major symptom is, quote has been issued, customer has been created, but the wrong services are provisioned, right? So that could be because the product lines in the quote is not clearly defined. So customer is asking for service A, and feature A, but what has been really provisioned is service A with feature B. And that is a very common symptom which reflects on the inefficiency. And it's a large discussion, so I will try to speed myself up. Inaccurate bill is one. So we shift to billing now. Inaccurate bill is a very evident symptom. Wrong tax calculation, payment collection issues has been seen as a very major symptom related to issues in billing. Not charging the right subscription as per the code, billing is not charging it correctly is a very key concern. And then this is, you would have heard this multiple times. Subscriptions are being given free more than the trial period. I mean, people keep getting service, customers keep getting service, which are supposed to be charged but are actually free. And last but not the least, revenue leakage, right? It's a major symptom. So you start seeing revenue leakage in across the board, and then and that reflects on the inefficiency and on the CPQ of the billing.
All right, Vijay, thank you. A lot of great information in there. Thank you very much. Next question, Anil. What are the key efficiency busters in the revenue cycle that one must track?
Thanks, Tim. And thanks, Vijay, for that introduction, right? And I think I will just continue with that same thread, right? What symptoms, because these are all related, and we sort of will be talking through these items. So as what Vijay said, right? The key thing, which is the with the efficiency buster, is what is the maturity or the stage of the code to cash system, right? So when we're talking about the code to cash, there are multiple things involved. There could be things where we are looking at just a CPU system which just handles the codes and has a way of pushing on the recurring information from the CPQ to an ERP, or it could be a complete integrated stack which has got a subscription management system in place, has got a full-fledged ERP, but then what stage of adoption are they in? Whether they are actually in a stage where they can actually handle these requests, whether there are business processes, rules in play for the product catalog definition, whether there are compatibility rules, approval matrices, right, discount rules, whether they are kept in there. So all this adds up to the efficiency busters, because that's where you start seeing the symptoms of delayed quotes, inaccurate quotes, and all those things coming up. And also, when you have a very complex environment or ecosystem where there are different systems of CPQ, billing, there are a lot of things which we need to think about, which we will, of course, again discuss more on the source part of it, is how well they are integrated, who is having the source of truth, who is owning the lifecycle management, who is managing the orchestration. And also one key thing which we always see, right, in all of this is that CPQ system might be very well maintained. That's a very good system. It's a state-of-the-art system. But have we actually looked into the fulfillment part? Have we looked into the finance part? All the back-end part should tie into the front end. So otherwise, I may have commercial offers which are very good to see, but then those don't add up for the back-end office, and that's where the inaccuracies and other things come up as well. So these are a few of the things which definitely impact the efficiency of the code to cash lifecycle. And yeah, as we talked about, right, complex pricing, all those things. So everything will tie in, and you start seeing issues in your solution. So yeah, with that, I will hand it back over to Tim.
All right, thank you, Anil. So now that we understand the symptoms and have discussed some of the efficiencies, let us now look at the source. Anil, I'll stay with you on this next question. What are the key reasons why the CPQ and billing inefficiencies creep into the revenue life cycle?
Yeah, I think yes. So I was alluding to that, right? Like in the conversation, that few things which we see in and there are multiple reasons. The systems being like whether we have a single system or you're using a multi-vendor solution where every system does their job, but how well is it orchestrated? How well is it integrated? Have we defined who will be the master data for a particular area? Who would be the source of truth for the orders? Who would be the source of truth for the account information? Who would be the source of truth for billing information? Have we looked into those? Have we looked into the features of the CPQ and billing systems? Whether the features tie in with each other? Complex pricing models, how have we identified those? Have we identified that those complex models can be supported by both, if you are having a billing system in the back end and a revenue system, whether those are being handled by the CPQ as well? Like, am I able to pass that information? So all of these are some of the, there are like many more, but these are some of the few symptoms and sources which we see creating these inefficiencies in the complete quote to cash life cycle.
Very good. Thank you, Anil.
Yeah.
Were you done? Anything else to add?
Yes. No, that's it, Tim.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, Vijay, let's go back to you. Can you suggest some practical strategies to maximize the billing and CPQ efficiencies?
Definitely, Tim. And I think already Anil has mentioned quite a few areas that need focus from what are the key busters and the source of the busters. Now, I've been in meetings with many customers, and recently we were having a similar discussion with one of the customers where we were talking about the issues that they were facing. And some of the practical strategies are as simple as, let's say, training or upskilling the workforce that the customer has, right? In terms of understanding the features of the CPQ and billing solution, right? So, and this has been a constant issue in terms of not knowing how to use the system. Is reflecting on the efficiency. Not knowing how to configure the system is reflecting on the efficiency from a billing and CPQ perspective. As I was mentioning, we are talking about different types of customers. Customers who already have the best of breed solution, customers who are still in legacy, and customers who are at the nascent stage or at the growth stage. So I'm talking about a customer where upskilling becomes very important, of customers who have been using the systems, but then the workforce who are maintaining and operating and enhancing the systems are not equipped, right? And that's where experts like us, like Synthesis, come in and provide that advantage. Now, so that's one key factor. First time right model is also a very important, and this has been discussed. And this is a software rule, first time right model. So when we design the CPQ and billing, we have to design it right. We have to design it for future. So when we start designing systems, CPQ and billing systems and all quote to cash integration, we not only have to keep the product modeling of today, we also have to reflect on what could happen in future as well. So the first time right design, first time right modeling with the help of domain experts goes a long way from a practical strategy, right? Then comes do we have the right CPQ and billing platform, right? How do we say that? I mean, how do we measure that? It goes back to the source of the buster. Where are the issues? Is it related to the product model? Is it related to some complex approval matrix that the customer has that the quote is going wrong? Is it related to the billing solution not able to track free periods effectively? Is there an issue with payment collection? So all that reflects on one major practical strategy is customers should start doing an assessment, a maturity level assessment of their current quote to cash systems and figure out what, and the outcome of the assessment is at what maturity level the current systems are, the current business process are, and what kind of transformation is required to improve the efficiency. And we have done this time on time with multiple customers, and it has great benefits because it's like a rehash. It's like a fresh eyes coming into the customer, looking at the customer processes and systems and the integration and trying to weed out or trying to clean up. It's like cleaning the weed. It's like keeping your grass clean, right? We come and we clean up the weeds. We make sure that everything is at the right place, and that's a very powerful strategy to maximize the billing, in the sense that it will maximize the ROI. That investment will maximize the ROI. And then there are other things that has to be done by customers: regular anomaly reporting, revenue assurance reporting, automation, and we will talk about automation. Anil will touch upon it. Automation is key practical strategy for improving the efficiency. Last but not the least, AI adoption. So AI adoption has actually eradicated in many times, in many places, in many functional areas, has improved the efficiencies quickly, very quickly. And it could be AI adoption that we can do when we do cross-selling, AI-based cross-selling, AI-based discount guidance, AI-based product configuration. All these features are getting built into the new systems, and the adoption is so key. And one of the practical strategies is to adopt the features that AI is providing quickly in the quote system, in the billing system, and try to improve the efficiencies, I think. And we have seen a big leap of efficiency increase by adopting AI. Back to you, Tim.
Great, thank you, Vijay. You mentioned automation. So Anil, I'll go back to you. What are the top 5 must-have automation rules that'll certainly improve efficiency and reduce manual errors?
Yeah, thanks, Tim. So yeah, I think what Vijay touched upon, right? Automation as one of the practical strategies. So, but there has to be some, you can't just think, okay, automation, and we automate everything and it works fine. We have to be a little bit of, you need to be careful how we select what automation is needed, because you don't want to end up with a system where you have built in multiple automations across all, like you are automating all the flows and everything, and then you end up getting timeouts when just trying to put in one quote line with 5 products. So that doesn't help, right? Like if you have things in that order. So we need to be careful what we automate and how we automate. And few of the things which we, as with our experience and what we've seen, right? One of the key things which we see is products, right? Product, and we touched upon it earlier also. Product is one of the core part of the complete CPQ billing and revenue systems, right? So unless we have a very good product orchestration and order orchestration mechanism in place, wherein we segregate the commercial from the service, basically where you are the back office part, it gets very cumbersome as you have more offers coming in, more changes coming in. You want to have new types of bundling done. So that part is very important that we segregate and have a very robust automation in place, wherein the products which are in the back office are pushed into the upstream, and you have the commercial products which are tied to those. And whenever you need to make changes to certain rules around those, that can be done at the commercial level, and you're ending up not touching the core products which are your backbone of your platform. So that's one key thing, right? And how you manage those bundles. So then that helps with the faster time to market also, because you are able to create more offers, more different options on the bundles, bringing in built-in, let's say, discount rule options, right? Like where you have different types of rules for discounts, setting up approval workflows around it for giving out discounts, or maybe selecting of inclusions or exclusion of certain products. So all those things are what you would be setting up on the CPQ side for automation. Then, of course, the order orchestration itself, right? Like so that you have once a quote is generated, how that flows into the billing system or into your ERP system, how that flows in. That orchestration mechanism should also be something which we should consider as to be automated, so that you have a seamless flow of information across and back. Then you also have other, as what Vijay talked about, like AI adoption. So user alerts, notifications based on different thresholds. So those things are another key areas based on metrics, how you want to see things being shown on your CPQ side, so that you know that, okay, if some order has been it's been fulfilled but not completed for any reason. So that also comes in, right? So those automation alerts, those things also should be done. And I think, yeah, so I covered 1, 2, yeah. So those are the 5, and I think, yes, yeah, those are the 5 which I would say at this point.
Great,
Back to you,
thank
Tim.
you, Anil. All righty, thank you. Vijay, we'll go back to you. What metrics should one track to know that the systems are working as expected?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tim, and it's one of a question that I take it with a lot of passion. Metrics is so important, it's so critical. What you cannot measure, you cannot fix. What you cannot measure, you cannot solve. What you cannot measure, is intangible, right? As we know in real life. So and a quote to cash, a BSS OSS quote to cash system, a system where there is an ecosystem where there is a CRM, there is a CPQ, a provisioning system, fulfillment system, there is a billing system, payment integrations, finance integrations. There are multiple moving pieces, so to speak, right? And typically, the metrics are divided into 3 major categories in my view, right? One is accuracy-based metrics. Then you have performance-based metrics, and then you have metrics on operations, right? Now, I was reading one of the reports, industry reports, and one of the industry reports say that in terms of selecting a CPQ, one of the key metrics that customers look for is the response time. And this goes back to what Anil was talking about in terms of automation, right? So from a CPQ perspective, and this has become the key success factor for a good CPQ, is what is the response time for quote creation, how quickly can we do amendments, quote amendments, introducing last minute discounts, adding large number of product lines to quote. So response time has become one of the key metrics in terms of the sellability of the CPQ, right? So that's a performance-based metric. Now, similarly, we have metrics around conversion, like opportunity to quote conversion, right? That's again a performance-based metric. So if effectively we are not able to create a quote for an opportunity, it's something that needs to be measured and validated. Quote to order conversion success rate is a very important performance-based metric. Right there, we talk about accuracy, the completeness of the order. The customer complaints are not there that, yeah, I got my services got activated, but my features are not activated. That's an issue with this conversion between quote to order. Then we get into accuracy, right? Revenue leakage, right, is one of the key metrics that has to be tracked. Right? We have heard, nightmare live examples where free subscriptions have been given forever to customers, trial subscriptions, unexpired discounts sitting with customers for years, right? And these are all large revenue leakage items. Order to billing accuracy, right? What the customer ordered, is it being charged accurately? Then we have the fulfillment, which we talk about. Payment collection. Payment collection is a major accuracy metric. Then comes the whole revenue recognition, billing to revenue recognition accuracy, right? So that covers the performance aspect of it and the accuracy aspect of it. Operational wise, time to market, we all know, right? In product modeling, how much time does it take to roll out a product has become a de facto, metric. And there are other operations metrics like, time to recovery, which is related to the stability of the system, time to change, lead time to change. How long does it take to change, make a change in the system, right? And then the change failure rate. So that is a complete view of the key metrics that applies to CPQ and billing, and I'm talking about the whole quote to cash now as well.
Okay, very good, BJ. Thank you. And thank you both for answers to your questions. We'd like to now use the remaining amount of time to take questions from our attendees. But before we do that, I'd like to ask each one of you, Anil, I'll start with you. Anything in summary? Vijay, you can follow after Anil. Anything in summary, and then we will go into some questions that are being asked by our attendees today.
Thanks, Tim. So I think as we discussed, right, like inefficient quote to cash system can lead to many issues, right? And like billing issues, and which actually negatively impact the pipeline, diminish your financial visibility, create an inconsistent customer experience, right? So all of this, and there are multiple things which we discussed through this discussion, and the core to that is that, right? So unless we identify because there are of course a lot of nice systems in place, but how well they're talking to each other, are you having the right fitment, whether the processes in place are optimized for your needs, whether the automation in play is what you need, or not, that's something which optimizes something, but that's not what you wanted, and doesn't look into certain other areas where you might be putting money on the table or leaving money on the table, right? So those are things which definitely are needed to be looked into and addressed. And we being in this industry for so many years and having looked into multiple systems and how have built systems also, so we can definitely help in those areas on addressing those needs. Over to you, Vijay.
Thank you, Anil. My summary starts with the the reverse way of how we went through the questions. So I would, when we talk to customers, of course it's dependent on what stage the customer is. Like I was saying in the beginning, whether they're using legacy system, or they are in the nascent stage, or they have a well-defined quote to cash process. But having said that, for all the three, the first thing is to measure. The first thing is to have metrics to measure. Once the customer starts measuring, then the symptoms are evident. You can easily identify the symptoms, because once you have a baseline and it's not as per the baseline, you get to know the symptoms. Once you get to know the symptoms, you know the busters of inefficiency. So once you get to know the busters of inefficiency, you do a root cause analysis, and then you get to know the source. And then we apply our practical strategy. That could be a full-fledged assessment. That could be modernization of the stack. Any one of the practical strategies, automation, implementing AI, simplifying your business process, so to speak. So in that order, right, the practical strategy can be applied, and then we can make it a bigger and a better system, bigger and a better CPQ and a billing solution. Back to Tim.
All right, Vijay, thank you. Thanks both of you very much for your summaries. Karen, I know we have some questions from our attendees, so I will turn it back over to you.
Sure, thank you so much. It was super insightful. There was a great session so far. We've touched upon symptoms, then we touched upon the busters, the source of the efficiency busters, and I think Vijay and Anil have really well articulated the practical strategies to maximize the efficiencies. And of course, one cannot miss the automation. So the great insights on the automation as well. All our favorite metrics. So I think the question that has come is, I'm planning to migrate my existing billing system. What are the things that I need to keep in mind?
Migration, transformation, implementing a new billing solution, all of these have exactly the same narrative that I had, is be very clear of what are the business requirements that needs to be implemented when we do so there's this thing called brownfield and greenfield, as we call it in the software world. Brownfield means you have to build the right side system as the left side system, right? Because that's what we call it as is migration. We call it as is migration. So when we do that, there is a lot of emphasis of how systems are running today, how processes are running today, what are the metrics, what are the key issues or symptoms or busters that are there in the legacy system that will potentially get resolved when we move to the new solution, new billing system. So all these have to be kept in mind. And in terms of moving to the new system, I would say the first time right, which I spoke about, is very important. No? First time right, doing defining the requirements which are not only current but also are future proof, and coming up with the right design, coming up with the right configuration becomes the most paramount point in this whole discussion in terms of migrating it. Rest all is a project, but I see the success factor being clearly defining, doing it first time right with respect to choosing the right product, choosing the right set of requirements to cut over and migrate, and ensuring that the right design is in place in terms of the quote to cash systems.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I think the amount of information we've covered so far, we'll have to go back to the tech is one side, but we need to go back to the basics of what is it that we are expecting out of this new billing system, and what are the lacunas that we have right now with the existing ones. Just try and understand what the business needs and then go from there. All right, fantastic. Cool. I hope that answers your question. By the way, right, the next question is, it is about the metrics. We did touch upon it, but I'll just go ahead and read that. What are some of the metrics that I need to keep looking at every day in the morning? Just which tells me that my billing and CPQ systems are pretty healthy. Are there 4 to 5 metrics? If I understood the question, are there 4 to 5 metrics that I need to keep looking at every day in the morning with my hot cup of coffee, and which tells me that everything is perfect?
I can take that because and then I'll let Anil also add to, because I spoke about metrics. I'm very very curious to take this question.
Go for it.
Yeah. Not that I want to answer all the I have the answers for all the questions, but yeah. So let's start. For me, it is an opportunity to quote conversion. Inaccurate quote is a very important metric. Then comes inaccurate bill, right? Bill accuracy, what we call it. Then billing performance, right? And also payment collection, failures, right? Because all these kind of affect our there are many to track, but I'm just trying to give the top ones, or that if that goes wrong, then I think it has a larger impact. So as simple as inaccurate quote, inaccurate bill, uncollected payment failures or payment collection failures, right? And opportunity to report conversion issues, right? These 4 are very, very critical.
Got it. So Anil, he did give you a chance to speak. Is there anything else you want to add?
I think Vijay covered all. I think the last one, I guess, is the same thing, which I would say is the fulfillment to billing to order, right? Like that complete, that's very important, so that you know that there are no leakages around as you are looking at the different systems, right? Like the orders, conversions, and things are happening in the right way. I think that's one of the key metrics which we should definitely track every day. Wonderful, wonderful. So what I'm hearing is there is obviously 20-80 rule there. The 20% of you need to get it right, come what may. Which essentially is the entire reason why we have the billing system in place first of all. Got it. All right. So how do I know if my billing system is matured and all the rules are set? I know we spoke about the symptoms and busters, but
but sometimes, after the problem happens, if someone wants to do a health check, maybe that's where the question is leading. I'm unsure about where I stand today. How do I know if my billing system is matured?
Maybe, yeah, I can take that. And
Sure.
it's an interesting question, right? So there is, I wish I could give you a straight answer that yes, yeah, this is what is like, look at this, and then you know that whether the system is mature or not. It all depends on how and what uh, your needs are, right? Like what is the requirements and business process that you are trying to address for your system, whether that billing system is capable for that. Because fitment, right? That's very important. You could have the best of the breed billing system in place, but that may not be what you're looking for. Examples, right? Like you're looking for a system which takes care of complex bundling rules, complex consumption rules, and all. But what you have in play is a very basic recurring billing system, which does its job well, but then it is not that great for certain areas. So that's very important, right? So when you say maturity depends on your requirements and how you are mapping that, and whether those requirements are being met by the system in play, whether it is through the like if it's an in-house, or you have a commercial product, or you have a mix of both, right? Hybrid scenarios where you have solutions around it. So I would look at it more from that point, and that's where we come in and we do assessments and we do look into the complete when we say since you talk about billing, but I would bring it to the complete quote to cash
Right.
life cycle if that is in play. If not, then we just do from order to billing sort of a life cycle review of the process areas, the function areas, and understand where you are meeting the requirements compared to the industry standards, as well as in basically for your needs, right? So for that particular domain or industry. So those are things which we would look into it and then come up with our assessment and then give the right, whether it's like building something in-house or enhancing certain things or going with a new system altogether. These are things which we would look into.
Super. Very, very interesting. I think that begs for another uh, webinar by itself, looks like, given the depth of the topic. Interesting. Super. I hope that answers your question. I honestly wanted to sneak in one more question, but we are at the bottom of the hour. So as I said, please do drop in your questions to us, and we'll definitely respond to you, each of you personally. So this is the email ID, info@synthesis-systems.com. And thank you very much once again for joining us today. And it's been total pleasure sharing our insights with you on revving up subscription revenue lifecycle strategies for maximizing billing and CPQ efficiencies. There's been tremendous interest. Thanks again, Tim. Thank you, Anil. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you so much for your insights, and looking forward to our subsequent webinars. Thank you so much. Have a nice day
Thank you.
and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.